And bans for game number 1. Shen banned away from Zig. He's been playing that champion almost non-stop whenever he can get the opportunity to. And Lissandra and Azir banned away along with Vladimir. So 3 quick mid lane bans out of both teams.
Yep. That go button being banned away with the Ashe and the Lissandra. And the Shen is also a bit of a go button that enables the Hecarim. But with the rise of the final ban, the Karma, no surprise that it's being picked up here for possibly Huhi, who's been playing a little bit more defensive and supportive roles. Seen some mid laners go for the Ardent Sensor as well as the Athene's Karma build, so it's the support with a lot of gold mid laner.
So when Huhi played it yesterday, he actually did go for the Athene's Ardent Sensor, and his shield onto Stixxay, when Stixxay took a headshot, watching that back a couple times, Stixxay dropped down to 98 health in 3 auto attacks from Laud. The shield was able to heal him an additional 300, not to mention a 700 health shield. So he effectively jumped from 100 health to about 1,300 from one ability from Huhi. So we'll see if that is going to be a similar situation this time, as Phoenix One now look at their next 2 champions in Braum and Rek'Sai.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai a little bit surprising here because Inori's been favoring Hecarim to carry the game, to dive in. This is a little bit more pick track oriented, but I do like this against CLG because you take it away from Xmithie and it shuts down a little bit of that rotation game because Rek'Sai gets to kind of get away with murder by having Tremor Sense. And when you don't have vision, you still have knowledge that there's somebody there, and that gives your team a lot of accessibility because they can't even sweep it, right? And it's like, oh, I didn't know that I was spotted, and that's the beauty of Rek'Sai and why she's so effective.
And now we've got the next 2 picks, though. Elise picked up for Xmithie. He played that yesterday, very early game focused, and so far, CLG looking for a pretty similar comp. We'll see if Aphromoo decides to return to that Thresh to round things out. Yeah. So they're still holding on to that top laner too.
His Thresh was pretty baller. It was really good. He was hooking left and right, and he was making plays. And it's kind of interesting when the meta is in the shape that it is for supports, but he still goes back to Thresh to try and make plays. It really says something about what he's trying to accomplish by keeping Stixxay safe, by being able to engage, and honestly just having the potential to carry from the support role.
And now Phoenix One looking for that go button as expected. Gnar locked in now for Zig, so a little bit more of an offensive role than the Shen we've seen him take before, but that on the hunt for Mash is going to be the signal, hey, let's fight. However,
I like it. I like it. I definitely like it. I think that they have a lot of potential to engage on P1's side. Zig, he goes for Gnar or Shen whenever he can. Yeah. So he's one of the few people who was doing it very early on and picking the Gnar. But despite not knowing the matchup ahead of time, it will be the Aurelia, which can pick on him in mini Gnar form. So we'll see how that turns out for him.
Yeah, in answer, though, we are going to get to see Aphromoo's Thresh. Huh? The playmaker returns. 3 in a row here for Aphromoo on Thresh. And he had such great performances on it, then why not continue to do so? And Thresh punishes lower tier teams in the standings for their macro play, but also their mispositioning in micro scenarios. Yeah, very talented on that champion. This is looking like a remarkably similar composition to the one that they played yesterday, but a couple of changes in this. Now Phoenix One looking for their mid laner, Pirean, holding on to that final pick, looking at Twisted Fate right now.
Yeah, I think you go Victor here. You can go Twisted Fate as well because you just want wave clear and you want to be able to go to the side lanes. But it is going to be the Twisted Fate for him, so it was 6-1, half dozen another for them. But Twisted Fate gives them that more global pressure-oriented mid laner. And up against the Karma, you don't really feel too much of what she has, or what she has to kind of bully you with. You can stay back. It's going to be a passive mid lane for the most part.
Lots of farming, lots of roaming. Big thing I'm going to look for are the junglers. That Elise, we've seen Xmithie play it before, going for the Moby boots first yesterday to try to bully out Envy and catch as many kills as possible. Again, lots of crowd control on CLG if they manage to stack it up.
CLG is a pick composition with split pushing, so they can go 4-1 here. Aurelia, if they get Darshan ahead, then this composition will turn online. Zig won't stand a chance in that top lane against him. And that's a scenario they're looking for. But it's mostly denying vision, getting the picks with Elise Thresh, and having the ability to run down and wave clear with the Karma in the middle lane. And this is a great formula for CLG. Carry top laner, Aphromoo on something that has pick potential, and then you also have Huhi on a champion that's supportive. Right? He's had a lot of success on things like Lulu, so the Karma seems to be a good fit for him.
Yeah, it certainly has done a lot. But as we get started in game number 1, get on Twitter and vote to your heart's content. Call out the winner of this match using hashtag CLGwin or hashtag P1win, as the teams are currently loading onto the Rift and getting ready. It is Counter Logic Gaming taking on Phoenix One to demonstrate that they can continue to rise in the standings.
Yep. Phoenix One, they want to move to 3 and 9 and start putting themselves in contention, because every game matters here. Phoenix One, when I talked with Gate, it was like playoffs is still the goal for this team. P1 still have aspirations to do so, even though their first half was the worst it could possibly be with a 0-9 record. Their second half, they could still climb up there and have a 500.
Yeah. Whenever you talk to the players, they always mention it being like, this is a new split for us. This is a new beginning. Well, so far, they're off to a 2-0 start. However, both of those 2-0s were technically 2-1 games, after which they lost the first map. So we'll see if they're able to take the win on this very first game.
And that's what I like about P1 as well, is even if they drop a game, they still stay in it. We've seen them win games in the first half, like even with Sentinel, right? Like taking a game victory and then not being able to get the second one. But it's kept this team going. Like, they really thrive when they have those victories. It really energizes the team, and they have high hopes. Like, they definitely aren't counting themselves out of the split, and they think that they can make playoffs if they continue their performances.
Yeah, well, this is the place to show that they can compete. CLG has been looking a little weak over the past few weeks. Now, back on the rise, trying to climb back up. Looks like we've got a double lane swap as Mash and Gate head towards the top side to catch up with Stixxay and Aphromoo. However, Mash and Gate are rushing forward into the brush. Might be hoping for an optimistic cheese, but CLG, starting off with a camp, aren't quite going to fall for it. However,
this is actually really interesting, because CLG, this is the, I think you're going to lane swap. So I'm lane swapping, because you wouldn't do the Gromp if you think that they aren't lane swapping. Because if they have their top laner here, you want to go into the jungle immediately and bully the top laner and jungler. But they walk forward, it's like, what are they doing? They sat in the bush the entire time. They get a large chunk onto Stixxay and Aphromoo. I definitely think that's worth it. P1 get a slight advantage here. But they have to worry about experience, because they didn't start with the camp.
Yeah, CLG will be able to get that experience just a little bit faster than Phoenix One.
Yeah, so you have to zone them out. It's mostly Stixxay, though. You have to worry about Stixxay, whereas both of P1 will hit level 2.
That's exactly what we're seeing them try to do, is Stixxay gets level 2, but Mash matches him by being able to shove the wave out in time and is able to keep pace with the damage trade in favor of Phoenix One.
Yeah, and it looks like CLG actually wanted this lane because they have the Thresh and the Lucian. Being able to bully early on, and the fact that they did the Gromp kind of signifies that. But both teams really didn't check to see if it was a lane swap from the opponent.
And meanwhile, Scuttle Crab picked up by Xmithie as he was just on that side of the map, and Darshan will trade with Zig.
Yep, want to get him while he's in Mininar and mess him up. Some of the lowest base stats in the entire game, actually, when you're in Mininar. I'll have to double check it, because I believe some of them are the lowest in the game.
Yeah, Darshan, there have been a lot of questions about his performance over the past few weeks. He's really had some, every once in a while he'll get a standout game where it's like, yes, that is the Darshan we know and love. But then he has those games where he kind of face checks into the enemy team more often than he should.
It's a different split for Darshan, for sure. Ever since MSI really started up, he kind of dropped off in his performance. It's kind of baffling at the same time, where it's like, how does somebody stop performing at their highest level? And it's still a mystery that's yet to be solved, but all we do know is that Darshan, so he's still looking for that magic to come back to him. Because we're having these conversations about top laners in the LCS, and it's like, Hauntzer's just looking better and better. It's like, Huni's up there, he's looking better and better. And it's like, well, Darshan, he's kind of down the list now. Whereas before, he was up there. He was somebody who could give somebody like Huni a run for their money, or Haunzer, and he even was considered better than them at some point. So he's looking for it back.
bit of a concern for CLG. However, as we said, they're trying to get their mojo back. Trying to recover that groove. Might be the way to do it with Xmithie. Ooh, good dodge from Zig as he sees the cocoon coming from off screen.
Yeah, they know that Xmithie is on the top side of the map, though. And this is going to be a bush camp on the bottom side by Mash and Gate. If Gate can land his Q, it'll make Aphromoo have to throw a lantern, but I think Aphromoo would be the primary target here. You want to go after the support when it's a Thresh, which is kind of counterintuitive because you're usually like, no, you go after the AD carry, kill the AD carry. But he just gets lanterned out if he's playing far enough back. If they're right on top of each other, then it's okay. And are they having second thoughts because the minion wave? No, they are. So they thought they were going to push up a little bit sooner. Fighting in the minion wave definitely works against you.
Yeah, minion's still quite strong.
Yeah, it's a little bit of damage that people don't always account for. It's like, why did I die? And then you check your recap, and it's like, oh, 300 damage from minions, huh?
Yep.
It's not good.
Like 5 auto attacks worth the damage.
Yeah, Inori seen on the top side.
Yeah.
He's trying to be sneaky to dive Darshan, or at least take over the jungle, and it's spotted out, so he's keen to this.
Yeah, they've got a big wave, just a little bit of damage. Zig. Ooh, decides to back out. No, they turn back around. Dodge from Darshan gets out of the stun. He's able to dodge the knockup too, but here too comes Pirean as Inori's actually going to be able to get out. Teleport from Huhi scares Pirean back.
Really well played there by Darshan. Really well played because he dodged Inori's knockup, he dodged the wallop and the stun from Zig, and Xmithie, he was on the opposite side of the map, so he wasn't going to be able to reinforce, and they used Huhi's teleport to try and counter, and they almost got a kill there, but Pirean had hit level 6 as Huhi was going top lane, so.
Good play from Huhi to match the quick level 6 from Pirean. Not level 6 himself, but just now gets it off of clearing the minion wave.
You can see how close, how close he was.
Yeah. I know it's a little tugs at your heartstrings when you see it.
It was so close.
He was so close. But he is going for the Athene's Unholy Grail style. He actually built a Mage Eyes yesterday on the support comma with that Athene's build. He was able to get it up to about 12 stacks before he died. Which isn't exactly very worth, but Darshan gets the quick level 6 and tries to bully Zig away.
Yep. Well played there as well. Pushes Zig out of the lane. Not level 6 yet either. Doesn't have flash, so he can't really stick around either. He's going to have to heal up. And it's always scary when the Aurelia is around this amount of HP because it's really in her favor because she's just going to stun you.
Zig trying to play around it as best he can. The slow, and he hops away. Doesn't burn the flash. Just barely over 100 health, but he is able to survive.
This feels really bad. Zig has to back now, or he should have backed earlier and maybe teleport in, but he's trying to turn Mega. That's the thing here. He's trying to turn Mega, and he's trying to buy time for Inori. If Inori gets up here, there's no flash on Darshan. It's almost a guaranteed kill if you set it up correctly.
Pirean's actually teleporting up as well. Looking for a kill. Darshan will land the stun, but he's got no escape. Stunned into the wall. First blood, Zig.
The flash transform. The fastest way to transform as Gnar is to actually use the ultimate. The W is always going to be off cooldown, so that's the most effective one. So if you want to transform as Gnar, you hit your W. If you want to transform really fast, you hit your R. Your Q has a little bit of a channel time, and your E makes you double hop first, and then you transform. So it's a really well done there by Zig.
No one expects the flash slam.
No one expects how fast it is, too. But, you know, Darshan does have knowledge of the champion. Picks up his yes. Transforms, double hops, flash, shove into the wall. Really well played there. Got him with the tail end of it, too.
Yeah.
And when it hits the wall, it shows that crit number there, so it does the extra damage. Pretty much maximized efficiency.
Very good play from Zig, defeating former teammate from many a year ago.
It's true. Who should have played top lane on Team Dynamic?
Yeah.
Now we figure it out.
Darshan or Zig? For now, though, everything else is pretty safe. There's a lot of vision defensive for Phoenix 1. They've got pink wards littering their jungle to keep an eye on any invade attempts by Xmithie.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that they keep it safe. And Inori has been running a pretty aggressive defensive line, trying to control these scuttle crabs, too. We just saw Xmithie and Inori skirmishing over one just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and you can see the difference here in the way that the junglers are approaching their ganking. Xmithie has Boots of Mobility really early on, first item, and then Inori went for the Stalker's Blade, so he's looking for combat effectiveness, whereas most Rek'Sais that we're seeing now will go for Boots to try and get in, as opposed to the Smite for slowing, and Sightstone to control vision, go into the enemy jungle. So it's a different style here from Inori. It's a little closer to what you see in solo queue, as opposed to the team play where the jungler is kind of a ward bot. But we see a little bit of a delayed lane swap. Pirean playing towards the bottom side because it's only Stixxay.
Stixxay flashes under his turret. He's caught by the gold card. Are they still going to dive? They are left alone. The kill for Phoenix One.
Yeah, it's a weird lane swap. You swapped and you didn't bring your AD carry to the top side. Your top laner is up against 3 for P1. And as soon as they saw that, it's like, all right, Twisted Fate, go bottom, pop that ulti, let's go. And Huhi doesn't match, doesn't TP down, doesn't try to match it. Also double check because he almost had it, I believe. Yeah, he almost had it. He didn't have it at the time, so Huhi just barely. So it was really well timed there by P1.
Yeah, just barely eking out the timer. They are going to secure this Mountain Drake as well. And this is something we heard from Aphromoo. CLG are looking to clean up their neutral objective control. They were able to do it quite well yesterday against Envy, but this time it's Phoenix One who secure the first Drake.
Yeah. Phoenix One have almost every advantage on the map at the moment, except they're down a turret, but they're still up 600 gold. Now CLG, if they want to continue to pressure off of that turret, despite being down in gold, they can camp that top side. It's much harder to defend at this point in the game. Have to put the wards in very specific spots, and even then lane ganking is more effective now with the long lane and having it being opened. But the fact they didn't answer the turret bottom side, it's about half HP. It's a little curious.
Yeah, instead of just trying to prioritize taking that Mountain Drake for later on and securing some deep vision as well.
Yeah, they also had to stop their mid lane turret from going down. But now all 3 outer turrets from P1 may just go down in a few seconds here, because this one definitely going to go down in this push.
Yeah.
Whereas the mid turret also rather low, so Pirean might lose his too.
Inori, however, is showing himself on the top side of the map and trying to put some pressure onto Darshan, whose flash has come up. However, Gnar and Rek'Sai, not exactly the best at sieging a turret.
Yeah, not the best at pushing out waves, and also not the best at dealing damage to the turret and not having to worry about the Aurelia. Yeah, look at this turret. It's already below half. So CLG are just playing for the turrets. P1 had a lead, but apparently it's deceptive.
They're trying to bully down Huhi. Flash, but he's still caught by the stun and eats the wild cards.
Yep.
Here comes Xmithie, though. Inori's running body block in the middle. Now he's going to be caught by the snare and stun. Huhi still takes some damage. He's got no flash, and Pirean walks away.
Yep, 4 members into the mid lane. CLG, methodical. Immediately go top, go bottom, go mid.
Oh, they're trying to separate CLG as best they can. Pirean flashes back to safety while Gate has to flash away from the Ignite. Stixxay's going aggressive, but is forced to back away despite the shields. And Phoenix One are able to get Sivir and Zig into that lane to try to defend.
Yeah, watch this pressure. As soon as this happens, they're going to try to get this turret mid, but meanwhile, teleport used to go back to mid for Pirean, and he's not even healed up completely. He got half his HP bar, so it'll be a little bit easier to push out of this lane still. He doesn't have an opponent to push against, whereas top lane, Darshan, shoved it into the top side. Maybe going, but his TP's already come through for Huhi.
Still caught by the Lantern, though. Takes some damage, dodges the wild card. Snare catches Inori. He flashed out earlier. The hook goes wide,
Here
but
comes Zig.
Stixxay's in the front.
Zig
He's
has
going to
ulti.
take a lot of damage. Finally, he drops down. Zig is only going to catch Huhi. There's a repel from Xmithie. He's retreating. Gate chases. There are no spiderlings. Oh, the winners bite. Oh, and Gate gets the kill onto Xmithie on the far side, and Phoenix won 4-1 right now.
Yeah, and Darshan had to go off to the right side after his teleport. Decided to try and take the long way around. He couldn't go through the team of P1, and Zig didn't have the best ultimate, but it was still enough to kind of threaten the team.
Yeah, 14 minutes in, Phoenix One take the fight back to CLG and call the bluff on that mid-turret siege, and are able to pick up a few kills in answer. Despite being down 2 turrets, it's only 400 gold that separates the team. So Phoenix One keeping pace right now. And this game looking a lot more competitive than CLG fans might have hoped. However, CLG, rinse and repeat, head right back down the mid lane, finally able to break down that tier 1 turret.
Yeah, P1 are going for the kills, but CLG are going for the map play. And kills, sure, they'll get you gold right then, but the map play is going to get you gold, and it's going to get you more opportunities because of the pressure to get kills later, to get more objectives later, and that's where the snowball really comes from, is from picking up the structures. Really well played there from Aphromoo to throw the lantern, baited Pirean into a position, and you can see Darshan tries to get into the fight, can only get on gate, has to go up and to the right side, and then Flash pushes him away, maybe could have pushed him towards the right wall, and Huhi would have been stunned, but Gate continues to chase. Darshan on the opposite side of the map, not able to do anything, so his TP was completely void.
CLG, the infamous macro team, trying to play the map as we said. They've now got some deep wards moving forward into Phoenix One's side of the map. However, Phoenix One are trying to defend as best they can with a few deep wards of their own. Line of pinks to keep an eye on any potential invades or what seems to be more likely, rotations from CLG. As Zig continues to shove in the top lane.
Yeah,
Darshan.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he's actually waiting back a little bit. There he goes. Finally heads up to get it.
Yeah, waited for him to change it back from Meganar, and now he's going to chase him down. He has flash. Zig doesn't have flash. This may be actual kill here. Q, E.
Oh, he's almost got it. Flash. There's the Destiny Gate. Darshan!
He's waiting for his E cooldown. If he can get out of vision. QE.
Taking the damage. Tosses the stun. He's going to try to burn him down. Does Darshan have it? Blue card! Pirean kills him.
The quick lock there and the turnaround. And actually, Mash gets an assist off of that because he popped on the hunt before Pirean went up there.
Oh, yes. That's what that was.
So Pirean got to have a little bit more movement speed running up there.
A little bit more able to catch down that Aurelia. However, CLG making the best of a bad situation, put some pressure in the mid lane. And they're able to get a bit of chip damage on that turret. Stixxay shows himself bottom, completing his Youmu's and Zerker Greaves, so hoping to get some quick damage onto this tier 2 turret. He's got Aphromoo to back him up in case he ends up in a bad situation. But again, it's the rotation. Mid, bot, and back to mid. Here goes Huhi. He shoves the wave in. Mash tries to clear it out.
Yeah, they can't walk through their own jungle to get there and kind of take the flanking route because they allocated all their wards to the left side as opposed to the right side, and that's controlled by CLG at the moment. You see that pink ward on their blue buff on P1s, and now you can't really go through here, and Zig's going to try to defend, but spotted out, and there's just multi-man pressure in every lane. Inori on the top side, trying to just stop Darshan really from going back up there, but he's needed elsewhere. CLG just running them around the map.
And this is what we expected from their composition. Trying to roam. Whoa, flash for flash.
Yeah, got the flash.
That trade.
No. Gate trying to make a play there. I'm glad, though, that he did that because if you're just going to sit around, then like why play? He's playing the game. He's being aggressive. He's trying to make something happen. And now this flash that Huhi doesn't have could be punished because the support flash versus the flash of the mid laner. Well, I know which one's more valuable.
CLG continuing to contest vision. They've now completely cleared out that blue side for Phoenix One, and Darshan fancies himself the next James Bond, trying to sneak deep into Phoenix One's red side jungle as CLG put pressure on the other side of the map. Zig dodging skill shots left and right. Darshan might have gone a little bit too deep. Destiny and Gate is available. Gold card lands. There's the Destiny, but Pirean eats some big damage. Darshan's still going to go down, but he's buying a lot of time for CLG to push another lane.
Also gets the heal out of Mash. Pirean just goes towards the mid lane. And then he backs. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well use the teleport while you've got it.
Yeah.
The gate.
Maybe closer to your base and then just go over the wall and then walk back instead of take 8 seconds. You know, who knows? Who knows?
CLG, though, are not going to take the Cloud Drake. That's been up for the past few minutes since the first Mountain Drake was secured by Phoenix One. They mentioned wanting to improve their neutral objective control. So far, it seems like they're okay to wait this Drake out.
Yeah, it's definitely the lowest priority Drake for professional teams at the moment. despite what statistics say, the perception is that it's not very good. And honestly, movement speed's all relative. You already have like boots of mobility. And if they have low movement speed and you're catching them anyway, you don't really need to put your body at risk. Try to take a Cloud Drake for the potential risk that it poses. Yeah. Sometimes leaving it up is a good idea as well. Making sure that they don't get another mountain or something on P1 side. Because that's how P1 gets back in this game, is if they can like get another mountain Drake and then possibly siege better, things like that. So there are different strategies to abusing or using the Cloud Drake.
Yeah. As it stands, though, Phoenix 1 down only about 1,000 gold, but they are also down 3 turrets, so that is standing gold that they could eventually look to take, as you said, if they manage. Wow, that is a sleepy wolf.
A sleepy wolf?
Yeah. It was like his alarm was going off, but he didn't want to get out of bed, so he was kind of crawling to catch up with it. Oh, but they try to Zerg down mid lane. Phoenix 1 doing the play that really they were known for early on in the split.
Yeah, Huhi had no flash there, so they were trying to look for that. Darshan is up on the left side. Stixxay's going to try to jump in.
Oh, there's a culling from Stixxay. Lots of damage on the Gate. The knockup will find him, but Gate still goes down.
Hey, I said I knew which flash was worth more. Well, I guess I was wrong. It was Gate going down because he needed his flash there. And Huhi, despite not having his, able to just speed himself out of it, and his team ready to completely peel and then turn it around when Darshan was in range.
Yeah, Gate the bait once again will go down. Now CLG continue pressure down the mid lane, and without that defense, without that peel, they are going to be able to take that tier 2, and Zig gets pulled in. A huge hook from Aphro. Stixxay chases, he flashes and gets the kill.
Yeah, and Mash not there again. Mash in the top side, clearing out the wave, trying to get that CS, trying to catch back up. I mean, he's been doing a good job of being a defensive player here.
Oh, Darshan, Inori over the wall without any help. He's going to drop to Xmithie. CLG are cleaning up these kills, being spoon-fed to them by Phoenix 1.
We talked about CLG. If they want to prove that they're improving, that they have to kind of smash P1 and do it quickly. Well, they just got an inhibitor turret at 21 minutes.
Yeah.
And an inhibitor at about 21 and a half. That's rather impressive, and capitalizing on P1's questionable decisions there.
Yeah.
CLG get a large lead.
They're now racing towards that top side of the map, trying to reclaim vision. Destiny and Gate is used. Xmithie split from his team. Oh, they're going to try to collapse. There's a teleport coming in. Oh, they're trying to get in. Mash is going to take some big damage while Pirean looks to flank Zig. Nowhere close to Meganar. He's going to have to stall this out for a long time. They collapse onto Pirean with the Zonia's hook goes wide. Mash is trying to, but he flashes over the wall. That's going to be Pirean going down. Inori is going to get some damage traded over, and CLG are getting cleaned up right next to the barracks.
Exactly.
Oh, Xmithie, try to survive if you can. He's running around. Will he be able to repel? No, and Inori gets the kill.
And despite losing an inhibitor, P1 make a bold move, and they're going to get Baron off of this. No chance of a steal. Darshan, wait.
Oh, he's teleporting in. It's past 20 minutes. He's got the home guard.
Mash is low. Mash is low.
So low. He's going to race in. Baron's down to 4,000.
80 carries, beware.
Darshan, oh, he's being zoned away. Phoenix 1 collapse. He turns back in, but gets stunned up and will go down. The ace for Phoenix 1, and they have taken the Baron, but he gets the kill. Hashtag calculated Baron damage.
They just need to put a gigantic cape that's on fire on the back of Baron, because he has a gigantic Sunfire cape aura.
Yeah.
Some people just don't realize it, and they die to that damage. The cards hit Huhi, and it allows Gate to walk up, hit him with the Q, and then they collapse. They pick up Pirean, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They collapsed on him, but that was a really good play there from Zig to block off the left side, Pirean to block off the bottom side, and then basically push all of CLG into making a decision, and then they just decided to stay there. Maybe they could have all ran straight at one person and tried to barrel their way through, but they weren't able to pull that off, and then they end up getting wiped.
Yeah. And Phoenix 1 corralled CLG into a very successful fight that gets them right back in this. Despite still being down in gold, they're down 5 turrets. That's 5,000 standing gold on the map. If Phoenix 1 are able to use this Baron, they could definitely take a lead in this and try to get themselves up in stats. That poor lonely Cloud Drake has been left alone for quite some time. It's So we'll see if anybody decides to collapse on that, as right now CLG, with that super minion pushing down the mid lane, it's preventing Phoenix One from pushing as hard as they'd like.
Yeah, and now the Pirean's here, and Pirean's able to go after... He's going to go after the blue buff, I guess. But he's the big one for clearing out these super minions. Mash has been pushing the bottom the entire time, but he's the one who doesn't have Baron buff because he died. So his splitting is a little bit weaker, a little bit slower. Yeah. They really want these turrets, though. They haven't gotten an outer turret, and there goes the first one.
They're able to break it down and actually open for themselves a gold lead.
Yeah, Pirean should be splitting. He has teleport and he has gate, but he's not that much stronger than Darshan. Granted, he is stronger, but he's 2 levels up, and he's got a lot of assists here. 1, 1, and 9 doing work, but Darshan does have all that damage for that squishy TF.
Phoenix One are going to now collapse on the mid lane, but the minions are getting cleared out so quickly by that super minions that just keep coming in for CLG and pressuring that lane over and over.
And now rotate to the top side for P1. That mid lane, like you said, those super minions are going to be delaying it a little bit longer than you want it to. Pirean can continue to push this mid lane out with his teleport and his gate. Plus, if you look at his build, he's got kind of the double build. I don't know exactly what to call it, because the split push build is you get a Lich Bane. The teamfight build is you get a Zhonya's, so you can dive in, throw a card. So he's kind of, I want to split push until we have a team fight, because that's Phoenix One's style, is the team fighting, so he has to build for that. But he does have an advantage in split pushing that he needs to push.
Phoenix One finally able to break down that top tier 1. That's 2 quick turrets in succession. Definitely some value for that Baron buff. They still got it for another minute because of Runic Affinity on someone. However, it will be difficult to continue pressuring this, as CLG able to defend that mid-tier 1 turret for quite some time and keep themselves standing, and Phoenix One are going to get some recalls to pick up some much-needed items and look for advantages, as CLG, despite some effective capitalization... Whoa, they're collapsing onto Huhi, racing down mid lane. Gold card lands, but he makes it under the turret.
Yeah, get his flash. Using your Destiny Gate for Flash, definitely worth it. Pirean gets to keep all of his summoner spells. Now it's time to do the Cloud Drake, or at least set up for it. No, they're still not even going to do that. Okay, so this... Okay. So CLG think that they're over there because they don't have adequate vision control.
Oh, Xmithie gets tagged. A couple of stuns get knocked off, but Pirean's on the other side. He gets hooked in by Aphromoo, and Stixxay is going to go down as Phoenix One find the pick they were looking for. Now they're going to try breaking down this mid lane.
Very appropriate bait there. Darshan was still pushing the bottom side. Darshan is behind. Like, he's a level down under Zig, level down under Pirean. This Aurelia looked like he was getting fed, but Zig caught up in CS now, actually slightly up, but P1 are actually having everything come together, and they're playing pretty well at this part of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen them have some blunders, but it was like Inori going over the wall in that middle after they lost the inhibitor fight. Very questionable, but then immediately after, it went from like one of the worst plays to a brilliant play right afterwards.
Yeah.
And P1 were able to just completely turn the game on its head.
Just corralling CLG. That is now the second Drake. Cloud Drake picked up for Phoenix One. Next one's going to be Mountain 2, and if Phoenix can secure that, that will help them so much as we get closer and closer towards this late game. So despite some mistakes that they have made, giving up a few kills here and there, not quite keeping pace with the macro from CLG around the 20-minute mark, they've been able to transition towards a pretty successful mid and late game. Pressure is on, though. They still need to show that they can compete. We've been hearing from them that this is effectively a new split on this second half of the summer season. This is the place to show that they can compete with some of these more middle-tier teams.
And that's been my favorite thing about P1 is their mentality. Gate's always been an incredibly positive player, and he's been on teams in the past where they haven't had the best records, and he's been able to stay through all of it, doesn't care about the criticism, doesn't care about that stuff. He's like, I just want to play some damn League of Legends, and I want to be able to win some games eventually, but I want to have a good time doing it, and being negative just ruins the whole experience. So he's been able to keep his team out of the dumps. Inori's, jumped on this team. It's his rookie split. Like, this guy's not played on stage before, straight out of solo queue. Played some of Challenger. I believe he was on TSM Darkness. And had an okay time, but ended up not working out for him in Challenger. Didn't even make playoffs then.
pressure is rising. As Phoenix One, finally, many of the players, we keep hearing from them that they finally found a happy organization, something that really could work for them. They need to be able to put up some results as well. And
Yeah,
they've been taking a few wins.
I guess it's a business at the end of the day, too.
Yeah.
But
they have been able to put up a few wins, and as we've said, they are playing smarter. If they have difficulty with clear calls, strong go buttons are a good way to deal with that.
yeah, their team fighting is great. That's what I love, is their team fighting is always on point in this second half of the split, beating Apex, beating Echo Fox, and now having an advantage against CLG. Their macro game still needs work, but P1 overall,
Whoa, they're
Looking
just trying
for the
to burn
fights.
through Huhi. He's still got no flash, and CC Lock will go down. Yet another pick for Phoenix One as they're trying to drop some vision. Gate takes the hook for Zig. He's going to take a lot of damage from Stixxay's culling. There goes his wallop onto Xmithie, but Darshan gets the kill on the Gate while Pirean tries to retreat as best he can. Mash, split it pushing on the far side, is going to be late to join up with his team.
yeah, Nash, he does this a lot, and I'm really interested as to why he does it. He split pushes a lot. And his team doesn't play around that either. Like, it's not always just the person who's split pushing's fault. It's the team being in a position to get caught when he's split pushing. It's like how many top laners have been like, all right, guys, don't get caught. Just play back, play safe. I'm going to get this turret. Like, oh, damn. Yeah. Why did you run into them? Why did you start the fight? And it's a 4-on-5, and it happens quite frequently. But Mash, no, he was 2 levels up over Stixxay at the start of that fight. And then he ended up being 1 level up at the end of it. They counter engage,
Yeah.
they kill Huhi, and then they try to continue even though it's a 4-on-4 now, but then Gate gets picked off, Pirean's not even there, so it's a 3-on-4.
It really seemed like CLG wanted to try to take a fight there. I mean, Darshan even teleported in, but Huhi just getting a little bit too far ahead of himself.
Yeah, it was really just the chain stun, because Huhi, I think he could have flashed out later on, but was just completely locked up, not able to do a single thing about it.
Zig actually shows himself bottom, and Darshan, despite having Bladed Ruin King and Trinity Force finished, doesn't quite want to look for the duel right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of HP to go through. Flat through damage, countered by building HP. A lot of it there with the Frozen Mallet. Warden's Mail second. So Zig went for an alternate route, and he went for actually having a little bit of armor and HP over getting the Black Cleaver second, which nobody's really building armor on the enemy team, so I like the decision. Also, the Randuin's Omen will slow the Aurelia's attack speed, which is one of her biggest sources of damage.
Taking stock of the game, we're at the 32-minute mark, and Phoenix One, after recovering from the pressure of CLG's macro play during the mid-game, have now reclaimed their half of the map and slowly are starting to put pressure onto CLG's side as they try to cheat forward and look for a tier 2, look for that mid-tier 1, and get some deep wards, look for picks and kills. But CLG not falling for it, making a few mistakes with some plays of their own in some overextensions, but are able to keep themselves in this. As such, most of those neutral objectives have respawned. Baron has been up for a little while now. That Cloud Drake finally going over to Phoenix One was picked up. They're going to collapse onto Aphro. Good flash over the wall, but Phoenix One chase him down. Mash is going to get a lot of damage, and Aphromoo gets shredded through. Darshan eats some big damage, but he's got a GA. Inori flashes out, and again, before CLG can respond, Phoenix One find the pick they want.
Yeah, you had Gate, and you also had Mash on the left side of the map. They shoved the wave up, and then they hid in a bush, and they just waited for it, and Inori ultied in, walked straight towards them, and they actually haven't cleared out the back of the pit, so...
Yeah, finally they see the ward. All right, so Phoenix One, they're going to try burning through the dragon. It's 5 versus 4, 10 seconds
just
for
a support
Aphromoo.
down. Big risk here.
Yeah, there's a big calling on the Gate. He's going to eat a lot of this damage. Inori waiting over the wall. Doesn't want to get too far away from the Baron in the case of a steal.
Zig
Zig
wants to change. Wants to
he
transform.
gets Mega Gnar, but CLG see the bar pop up, and Phoenix One back away. They can't take any chances.
Yeah, wished he had transformed earlier. Gate takes a lot of damage. That build from Lucian, it's still no joke with the Black Cleaver and the Yomu's Ghostblade. Yeah, you can see Gate and Mash already on that left side. Stixxay was the only one on the top. So as soon as they pushed up Stixxay, there's no way he could hold his ground like a 2-on-2. It's a 2-on-1. And then they were able to get the inside track, get the stun onto Aphromoo in the follow-up, and teleport through. So Well played there by P1.
Yeah, Phoenix won. However, they are going to trade objectives on respawn, rushing towards the Baron rather optimistically. End up just taking some damage and trading over that Mountain Drake. Mash rushing forward. There's the Destiny Gate, but they can't find anyone separated from their team. CLG keep themselves close together. They've got their composition under lock and key now. And will they continue to fall for these picks from Phoenix One?
And this is something that we see a lot in the Challenger Series, where a team has an advantage, and the way that they try to pressure it is just Baron bait over and over and over again. It happened with Team Liquid. It's usually from young shot callers, where manipulating the map in a different way is very difficult, or setting yourself up for this Baron by map movements and using them appropriately. It's very difficult to do and coordinate. But this is the easiest way to do it. We talked about P1 having go buttons and that their macro was a bit off. It's the same thing here, where just keep going back to the Baron over and over and over again. The risk on this is super high, though, if they call you on it.
Yeah, Darshan's on
but they're going to go for it.
They've already got one Mountain
Keep Xmithie out. They can't get him. He's repelled.
He's repelled. That's buying a lot of time. Now they turn onto Xmithie and gets dropped. Stixxay in the front, dashes in, is forced to flash away. Darshan manages to get into the back line. What a lantern! Keeps Stixxay alive, and Phoenix One get a kill, but are forced to back off yet again.
Yeah, 40 seconds, though, onto Xmithie. They can back, they can heal up, they can push out mid-wave, and then they can go back to the Baron if they're going to keep going with that strategy. And Pirean barely just makes it out. Has to flash over the back of the Baron pit. His team kind of ditched him because they all had to jump onto Xmithie. And now you go back to the Baron. Exactly. You're not going to have a chance of a smite steal.
Yep.
Go back, sweep.
Clear out the vision and try again. If at first you don't succeed,
then just do it again.
Keep on doing it over and over. Phoenix One right back in the pit. There's the Destiny Gate from Pirean. Well, that's the Destiny. They're actually going to try to collapse onto Huhi. He eats a gold card but hops away. Aphromoo is the sacrificial lamb this time. The box is going to be for his own solace as he goes down. Now Phoenix One going to try to burn through Darshan, looking for that
Zig has ulti and flash.
Zig still going to be mega.
Whoa.
He gets it! Holy stun! He finds two. Baron is secured, and Phoenix One are going to chase on to CLG. Phoenix One are picking up kills right now, and CLG are falling apart as Phoenix One up 6,000 gold with their second Baron of the game.
And they have a Mountain Drake, and they can take objectives right now. Xmithie, too far forward.
Ooh, that was optimistic. The Proto Belt doesn't quite go far enough. Oh, he's stunned. Still got the repel, though, but an ace by Phoenix One.
And Phoenix One just clean up CLG, ace them, and they only lose Zig in the process. They get a turret. They're absolutely ahead in this game by 8,000 gold. And it's the two-time defending champions of the NALCS struggling against a team that didn't pick up a win in the first half of the split.
Yeah, that Lichbane from Pirean shreds through the turret, and the inhibitor turret will go down. Mash, as he always does, split pushing in the mid lane, will take another turret for Phoenix One. From last place to 9th place, this win would put them into 8th. Phoenix One are climbing the standings, but they need to prove that they can finish off more than just this game here. Here's that fight once again. Aggressive pick from Phoenix One.
Very aggressive. I love that they jump forward. They get Aphromoo from earlier. And then Zig, low. Boom, into the wall. They walk too far forward. Slams two people in. Still dies, though, because of Darshan. And then Darshan gets picked up. His GA is rendered useless. And Xmithie, what he's trying to do is clear out that minion wave, because that's a gigantic minion wave. That's a minion wave that's going to kill your inhibitor and your inhibitor turret.
Especially with the Baron buff.
Exactly. So he's trying to thin it out as Elise. It's a little bit harder to do. He proto-belts. I think he should have proto-belted the wave, to be honest. I don't think he should have proto-belted to try and escape. I think he should have proto-belted the wave to thin it before they even got there. It's a very good wave clear tool with only a 40-second cooldown. But yeah, he was trying to do that, and he sacrificed his life to do it, but the inhibitor still stands.
And now that minion wave is prepped on the perfect side of the map. Elder Dragon's up in 90 seconds. If Phoenix One can take this inhibitor, that would free them up to start pressuring the bottom side of the map and control that Elder Dragon pit, which would put CLG in even deeper a hole, as Phoenix One, just 2 weeks ago, just last week, were in last place, and now they're keeping up with defending NALCS Spring Split champions. In fact, winning, up 10 kills, 11,000 gold.
Yeah, it's about to become more as well. and they're about to tie it. If they win this match, like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's game one. We've seen P1 win games before and struggle to close. But if they win this match, they tie energy in the standings, and they just start their reverse sweep of the season.
Yeah. Stixxay trying to clear out the minions. He's got some help from Huhi. However, Darshan can't quite answer Zig, 2 levels down. And Zig will take that bottom tier 2, clearing it out. 7 turrets for Phoenix 1. They were down 6 turrets to 0.
Yeah.
Just 20 minutes ago, and now the tables have turned completely as Phoenix 1 pressuring this inhibitor with Baron buff, trying to break it down. They still got it for another 30 seconds. Stixxay in the front. He gets tagged.
Inori wanted to go in for that, but decides not to, and they're just playing the pressure game.
They're trying to go in. Xmithie is in the front. He repels up and gets away, but will finally go down. Cleaned up, that's the kill. Inori in the back line. Zig trying to build up to Mega. Gold card onto Darshan, zones him away as Phoenix 1. Oh my god, are they trying to end right now?
They are.
Nexus turret number 1 goes down. They're trying to burn through the second. Stixxay doing tons of damage, and Phoenix 1 are trying to take down the Nexus. Aphromoo goes low. Phoenix 1 do it! They take game number 1 against CLG!
And Phoenix 1